Dinosaur-Killing Asteroid struck at the worst angle possible to cause maximum damage. This is what new research finds. This is by Erwin Lebert, Research Associate, International Ocean Discovery Program, University of Leicester, UK. This is on The Conversation. Few geological events fascinate as much as the one that happened 66 million years ago. It struck the Yucatan Peninsula, Gulf of Mexico area. Evidence suggests a huge asteroid hit our planet, triggering a chain of events that led to a mass extinction in which more than 70% of all species on Earth were wiped out, including the dinosaurs, and they just disappeared. A new study narrows down the trajectory of this asteroid, which could help us better understand how the impact affected the planet beneath it and how material was dispersed in its aftermath. The research suggests that the angle of impact of this asteroid may have led to the worst possible consequences for Earth's inhabitants. The asteroid is long gone, pulverized when it hit the Earth, but it left a 200-kilometer wide crater. And by looking at the geometry and structure of this crater, it's possible to test asteroid trajectories with computer simulations and see which one is more likely to leave a scar, as observed in real life. The crater is no longer visible. It's buried beneath hundreds of meters of sediment deposited since the impact, but various pieces of evidence pointed geoscientists to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico as the site of the crater's location, and it was named after a local village, Chicxulub. Various datasets have since been collected to allow researchers to appreciate the feature of this crater. In 2016, I joined a joint scientific expedition organized by International Ocean Discovery Program and the International Continental Scientific Drilling Program. We spent 2 months at sea drilling samples from the crater in a specific location, its peak ring. Peak rings are formed during large impact events. The one in the Chicxulub crater consists of a roughly 80-kilometer diameter inner ring of hills, effectively forming a second circle within the crater. Peak rings are more easily observed on other rocky bodies in our solar system, such as the Schrödinger crater on the Moon. Our 2016 expedition aimed at understanding how these features form and what happened to the target rocks during an impact. It's difficult to produce experiments that replicate the high pressures, temperatures, and aftermath of asteroid impact events, and that is why researchers use computer simulations. The samples recovered during the 2016 expedition helped to refine models of how the peak ring and ultimately the Chicxulub crater was formed. For an asteroid that arrived vertically on the surface, the model suggests the object would have been pulverized within the first minute while making a cavity roughly 30 kilometers deep. During the next 2 minutes, the bottom of the cavity was thrust up by the resulting forces to a height of more than 10 kilometers, and then during the following 2 minutes, this uplifted central part of the cavity collapsed outwards, forming a peak ring. In fact, the impact was so powerful it even brought up part of the Earth's mantle. The layer below the surface crust found more than 30 kilometers deep underground. The new study from researchers in Imperial College London, published in Nature Communications, pushes the modeling even further by testing different asteroid sizes, speeds, and angles of impact, 90 degrees vertical, 60 degrees, 45, and 30 degrees relative to Earth's surface. It's possible to simulate which scenarios would have left a crater that looked like the real one. The shape and continuity of Chicxulub's peak ring suggests that the actual asteroid had an angle of between 60 and 45 degrees. If the peak ring was truncated somewhere like a horseshoe, that would suggest a shallower angle, but it does not seem to be the case. The direction of the asteroid is more challenging to estimate, but by looking at the relative positions of the centers of the crater, the peak ring, and the uplift of the mantle mentioned above, it's possible to estimate where the asteroid was coming from. With a vertical impact, the three centers would be expected to match, but they don't. Their offset could indicate that the asteroid was coming from the northeast. And after the impact, regardless of the direction, the actual angle is pretty important to picture what happens after the impact. The estimated range of angles, especially 60 degrees relative to the Earth's surface, would have led to the most efficient vaporizing of the rocks and projection of toxic gases and particles evenly in the region and globally. Other simulations suggest that a 60-degree to 30-degree range would have released much more gas and many more projectiles than with the vertical 90-degree or shallow 15-degree angle. This suggests that not only did the asteroid fall in a spot more likely to release toxic material, but it also did so very efficiently, leading to the worst-case scenario for our planet and the dinosaurs. A previous study suggested that a shallower angle and a different direction would have meant the effect of impact was more severe in the northern hemisphere, and under the new model with a steeper angle, the ejected material would have been spread more evenly, and this might allow researchers in the future to revise the wider record of the impact to better reconstruct the events that happened in its aftermath. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.